Hey folks, what's up, iyatee? So I was just started shooting a video, and I was napping this piece right here, which I've showed before. It was the piece of rock that I believe John said was from an East Coast rock. I'm not even 100% sure this came from John, because I got a bucket that's got, well, it's a 200-pound food trough, or a lick tub full of rocks that I don't know what they are, and they came from different places when I've been buying rock. I thought it came from John, but I'm not sure. But I started napping this, and I was talking about how I was out of frame on some of the indirect on the last video, and I looked down and I was so far out of frame there was nothing I could do with that. This is also harder than woodpecker lips. It napped really good when it was thick and making it into a biface, but started getting it thin, and man, that dude is harder than, like I said, hard as woodpecker lips. So I'm going to heat treat that and do something else with it, or the same thing probably. I was going to make a hardaway out of it, but not in its current condition. I don't like beating on stuff that's too tough. I do have a piece of Rainy Buttes here. I'm looking at how this is here, and this is probably a little lesser quality piece, but I am going to do my absolute best to stay in frame. If you started watching that other video and I got to the end of the direct, what happened was when I was doing the indirect, you could see all the indirect when I was taking the strikes, but you couldn't see because I kept pulling up here and looking at it, and then you couldn't see what I was looking at. So there's probably 5 minutes of that happens in that video, which really bums me out. But if you can get through that, there's lots of information on the other side of that and before it, and some during it. But the problem is that yeah, when it's smooth like this, it's really high quality. When it gets rough like this, it's a little lesser quality and much more snap and half-ish kind of stuff. So anyways, I do apologize about that last video. This piece here is the first piece I've touched since I've been out here that I didn't finish into a point. Every other thing I've made, I've successfully turned into a point, which is pretty amazing for me. I mean, I've had some, you guys, if you're watching, you've seen me, you know, break a tip and recover from it, snap off an ear and recover from it. But every point was successful, in my opinion. Well, that should make for an interesting texture on this if I get this one to the end. Problem is, I'm not sure how that's gonna. I originally was wanting to make a Scottsbluff, or attempt to. This clunky thing may not have been the best choice for that, but like I said, I'm at the end. I'm at my end for what I have for Rainy Buttes. I do have a viewer said that he can get a bunch of it, and he sent me an email. I haven't had time. If you watch this, I haven't had time to get to that email. I've just been busy, but I will get to that email, and hopefully we can work something out to get some of this Rainy Buttes going. Of course, I have to be able to get out to Montana or Montana to North Dakota to pick it up too, that's a long ways to North Dakota, buddy. I mean, it's a long ways. That's not a short little Tennessee trip. My son was working out there for a while, and for basically the whole summer. He loved it up there. But when wintertime came, man, he could not get out of there fast enough. And North Dakota is a lot like Alaska. You get fall weather and whatever, but when winter shows up, there is no doubt that winter is there. Because it makes its presence known. Man, I need to get this big fat thing off here. Just trying to hit right there on the edge of that thing and couldn't quite get in there. I do a lot of missing. I tell you it's dialing into my aim, but it's not. It's just missing. Really. Maybe I need to go to smaller. I think it's too soon for a smaller bopper though. It might get me into these spots a little better. Dangerous having all that weight hanging off of one end. You guys see that good enough? Back to not paying attention to the monitor again. I don't know why I'm all of a sudden having staying in frame problems again. Believe it or not, I have never made a Scottsbluff, ever. I've actually never held a Scottsbluff cast in my hand. I've never seen an actual Scottsbluff in, well, in a case, I guess I have. I know that they have a more or less a median ridge. I don't know. They're thicker in the middle by a bit. Seen Stone Hook make one look pretty nice. This is obviously going to be a small one, which I see some that aren't real big. I'm going to keep hitting that thing with my head. All right. Let's clean it up with some pressure, and then I was originally going to do it out of this one, but then I thought I'd do a rock to point kind of thing. But this is a really high quality piece. You'd probably make a better Dalton. It's pretty thick. I mean, it's over a ½ inch thick, and it's only about an inch and maybe an inch and a quarter wide at the most. So it's not like that's going to be an easy piece to work because it is so thick, but we'll see. I might work some Buffalo River next. We'll see. This actually might be the last point for today, unless I nap something else in the dark. That coral point that I just made really did come out pretty nice. So it's one of the nicer coral points I've ever made, actually. It probably is the nicest percussion coral point I've ever made. I do prefer to buy slabs of million souls mine coral rather than spalls. If you have a kiln to heat treat it, if the heat treat's not quite right, then it's not a big deal, but some pretty colors though. They don't quite reach the scale of, well, it's more colorful than some of the Flint Ridge, but it's not as colorful as some of the others, of course. But Flint Ridge and Mookite, I think, are the two most colorful, really. But coral's not too far behind it. This is definitely, most definitely a crunchier piece. Not crunchier, just a little less quality piece. I think the reason I haven't made any Scottsbluffs, I know the guys out there just absolutely love them, but the bases are just kind of lackluster, I think. But plenty of people love them. There's one fellow, and I can't remember his name right now, but I think he's on a mission to make, I don't know, 200 or 300 of them or something like that. I think he's already got a couple hundred of them. He's making a cache, I guess. Doggone it. So the biggest thing is going to be, can I get the flake scars to run across this thing? Not if I keep doing that right there. I got this bump right here that's forming that I need to eliminate. And that did not go across there to it. Doggone it. Just stopped right there. Definitely some funkiness right there. Alright, I'm going to try and come in right here and see if that'll spread out and get some of that. Oh, it spread out and got some of it, alright. Dang it, I made that thinner than I wanted it. Yeah, that's thinner than I want it, for sure. Okay, we're thin now. Or much thinner, anyways. This piece is really steppy, and that's not usually my experience with Rainy Buttes. Good, I got that off. At this point, I would like to be set my flake scars going across, but this may not turn into a Scottsbluff. Trying. flattened it out a little bit more. Definitely not really looking like it's going to. I got this giant curve I installed in it. I took that really big flake. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure this is going to turn into a Scottsbluff. I might have to do something different. I am struggling on this one a bit. Don't think I'm going to be able to get the flaking for it. Maybe if I get it all regularized. Maybe it'll. I'd like to make a bigger one, but just don't have the rainy views to do that. I can tell you this, you don't want to start off getting your point all crooked, and then you spend too much time trying to get it straight again. Those are really not pushing in there very far. That one went up in there. Doggone it. That went in there and stopped. This is just not going to work for a Scottsbluff. I can't push a flake across far enough, I guess. It ain't for lack of grunting though. Keep stacking up on that right there.
Are you having any luck?
Yeah, a little bit.
Huh?
Just playing around. What's happening? Just out enjoying the day? Just good eaters.
Them were babies.
Yeah. My son usually fishes right down there. He usually catch some good ones at night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you take it easy, bud.
You-
Enjoy the day.
You too. Enjoy yourself. Stopping by to get a fishing report. I'm not doing any fishing out here. Okay. Yeah, I just can't get anything across that. Whew, look at that. Finally got one to go. Like I wanted it to go. Holy cow, what the heck is that? Dang. That bug was giant. Whatever that thing is. Some sort of giant beetle. Whew. I thought, what in the world is climbing on me? Folks, I don't think we're going to get our Scottsbluff. I'd have to make it awfully short. And that tip's not really, some of them are pointed like that, but a lot of them really aren't. There we go, we got a flake across it now. We must have finally got narrow enough that we can get a flake pushed across there. I don't know where that dude went. I think he crawled on underneath the camper, but I don't want him back on me. He looked like if he got you, it hurt. That side, the flaking's, I mean, I would like to have a flake right there. There we go, got that flake. Got that one. Alright, we got some pretty good flake scars across that side. Now can we do anything with this side? I guess nothing else will turn it into a Dalton. Whatever that beetle was, I bet it was 2 inches long. That's a big beetle, big black dude. Okay, now we need flake scars across this. Sharpen up our tool. I told my wife, I said, you know, most of the time I just haven't been feeling up to it. That's why I haven't been, I mean, I really laid off the videos for a long time, and now I'm feeling better. But the other reason I wasn't doing it is because we're working in the shop all day long, and you just can't, it's hard to do the video with all the distractions going on. The saws are running, it's noisy in there, and all that. So, well, did you catch any fish on the way through?
No. We've had a lot of rain this last month.
Yep.
How long have you been camped here?
We just been here about, I think this is 6 days, something like that. We're from Hayworth. Okay, so I'm gonna have to delete a bunch of that. That got to be pretty colorful. That fella stopped by and nice enough guy, but he was definitely colorful, I can tell you that. He stayed here for, whew, man, he's been here 45 minutes probably, something like that, just visiting. Before it was over, he even gave me his, he said, he lives over in Antlers. He gave me his address and apartment number and all the rest of that stuff. You ever over there, come by and visit with me. Super nice guy. He does like to talk. Yeah, so it's getting kind of late now. You guys can probably see the shadows from the being dark. It's kind of on a roll there. After fighting with this thing, I finally gotten on a roll. Okay, we are recording. Yeah, this video will have some extra editing. I'll tell you what, I mean, he even got out of his car to show me a spare tire. He did tell me a funny story though. He told me the story about this friend of his, and he had this Longhorn, and they took it to get it weighed, and it was like it was 11 feet from tip to tip on this Longhorn, and it weighed, I think he said 2,200 pounds, 2,300 pounds. Big Longhorn. I'm not sure that I've ever seen a Longhorn quite that big. But anyways, this Longhorn, oh no, I did that nasty right there. This Longhorn was out in this pasture, and the guy also had a little donkey, and he had the donkey because the donkey would kill coyotes and stuff like they do. And he said there's a creek run right through the middle of that place. And he said this happened all the time. And them two were always at it after each other, and they'd get down there and that donkey wouldn't be paying attention. That Longhorn come with there and get up under him with one horn and flip that donkey over in that creek. He said he said that donkey come out of there just madder than a hornet, and all mad because that big Longhorn done that to him, fighting like little kids, you know. And I don't like that I did that right there, but I don't know if there's gonna be any fixing that. Unless I can come in right there, but I'm afraid that might even make it worse. Anyways, he said one day someone had left a feed sack out there in the, oh, I took a bite out of it. Left a feed sack out there in the pasture, and that donkey went over there and he'd put it in his mouth, and then he would just wave it around, you know, and he seen that made noise. Well, that donkey got to packing that feed sack around, and he'd go around, and it just scared the heck out of that bull. That bull didn't know what to think about that, and he would chase that bull around with that feed sack and get him back for all that honoriness he would do to him. Anyways, when he was telling the story, it was pretty doggone funny. It was a good visit. He's just out for a drive today. Well, let's look at something here. Let me back this up. We're really too small, I think. I guess we are as long as that one. That's not a super attractive Scottsbluff. I really like the looks like these here, or that is what I had in mind. That's a Scottsbluff too, they say, so I don't know. I guess we'd be okay. Yeah, we'll just make a little mini Scottsbluff. That's what we started out to do, and that's what we'll do. There is going to be an awful lot of editing on this video. Here comes the rain. I may have to, oh boy, here we go. I gotta move some stuff. Hold on. Now I got my monitor on the other side, and I don't want my book wet, and I don't want my grinding stones wet. When those grinding stones get wet, then they don't work no more until they dry out. Man, it's coming down now. You guys probably can't even hear me. Let me move this book. Everything's fixing to get wet, including me. Would really like to finish this point though. We do have reasonable. I have my whole book changed. The symmetry is off quite a bit. It's going to be a small Scotty, but so let's see. Yeah, he told me I know about every mechanical problem that car's ever had. And everything about it, from the electric transmission to the fact that it doesn't have a dipstick for the tranny, and you have to all kinds of stuff. Kind of bummed I only got 2 points made today. Well, actually, I ain't even got 2 made yet. May end up having to do some night napping. So, these things, some of the bases, well, let me pull one up here. Let's see. I don't have my monitor's not where it should be. You have some of these bases here that are kind of got this little kick out here, and they're a little bit recurved here. I really kind of like that. I do like the expanding base. I think we're just going to make a straight expanding base, and we might recurve it just a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure yet. I guess I should get sure because I'm fixing to do it, right? And I'll be gone most of the day tomorrow probably, so. That's a little better. That little nick out of right there, which means I'm going to have to bring this in a little further to get rid of it. Which means we're probably going to go to a straight base. These shoulders are pretty weak on them. He did tell me about another state park that for me to check out. I think I am gonna concave the base just a little bit. That one's a little bit lower than the other one, I think. Something's off a little bit. Too cloudy for a sunset tonight. Cloudy and rainy. Chasing the symmetry all over the place. Well, we got some flake scars going across it. More or less parallel flake scars. Fatter in the center, which I believe all those were. I don't know how well you can see that, but if you can see the ridge down it or not. But it does have the ridge. It's fatter down the center, but it does have just a little bit of a dip right here, but it's not bad. Not bad, it's pretty straight, pretty thin, and that's it. That's our Scottsbluff. I'll probably look at this thing and go, oh, I need to adjust this or adjust that. That's definitely a possibility. But for now, this is it. That's all we're gonna do. So. The flaking was okay, I guess. I mean, it could have been a little better parallel flaking, but I don't know. For percussion, it's pretty decent for me. But it is a small Scottsbluff, and I really wanted to make something bigger because I was originally looking at this and it was a longer rock and stuff. But if I made it out of this, it'd probably get as narrow as like. Wrong direction. Lost my monitor. Now you're in 16 power. Now you're out in the. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. Yeah. Anyways, it would probably be super narrow like this one. This one's actually wider than that. But there's our Scottsbluff. Close as I can get right at the moment, I guess. Some of these are very parallel. Some of them are expanding. Some of them have a little bit of a concavity there, so I think the main feature is this higher. They weren't flat. It is pretty thin though. Considering the piece of Rainy Buttes wasn't super high quality. I mean, it was pretty good, but wasn't super high quality. Not as nice as this. See how slick this is and how this flakes. This is super high quality. This is a little lesser, but still good. But anyways, there's our Scottsbluff. Appreciate y'all watching. I have no idea how long this video was because I recorded some of him, probably 15 minutes of him here talking before I hit the button. So appreciate y'all watching. We'll catch you on the next one, and y'all keep napping.